Hello, everybody.
Hi, and good morning or good evening, depending on which time frame you're viewing from. So today we're going to cover. We're going to do a demonstration of the flour sack, which is something that was requested, I believe, a week or two ago. And what this does is it's a good exercise to work on volumes, animating in volumes, instead of just flat shapes, and also attitudes with a simple shape or a simple form. So I will begin with a neutral pose right here. Oh, and while I'm doing this demo, Wayne's gonna answer some questions about education in animation, like colleges, universities, online schools.
Well, you know what, dude? Let's do that together.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to be confused. Is that cool?
Yeah, that's cool.
Okay. Hello, you guys. You guys, my back is hurting a little bit, so I'm a little stiff here. Let's see. Hello, Rhea Baxter. Oh, Tefik. Hello, dude. Hello, Judy.
Judy.
Mr. Creative. Hello.
I like that name.
Can you guys hear us all okay?
Audio's cool.
If you could let us know, we think it is.
We just want to double check so you guys are not. Somebody put something there.
Yeah, it just says hi, Mr. Creative.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and start this.
Oh, there's Tefik. Hello, Tefik. Me, buddy. Tefik, can you hear us okay? Oh, there was one thing I wanted to say while you're doing that.
What's that?
You guys, last time we were on, someone had asked places we really enjoyed working. I forgot to mention when we worked at Turner Animation. That was one of the best. Cats don't dance. Thank you, Tefik. Yes, loud and clear. I can hear you. Thank you, you guys. Thank you. Thank you for letting us know. So everything's going good. Low and clear for Judy. Okay. Judy, are we still on Zoom? Should I quit out of Zoom? Let me know. It's all right if we do it through here. And anyway, I wanted you guys to know that was, for me, I had a great time working on Cats Don't Dance. I got to work with Franz Vischer, who's an incredible animator, and he was great to work with. We had a good crew on the Darla. Guys, don't forget to like. Like, honey? What does she mean, like?
She means like the channel?
Like the... Oh, is she talking to us, or...
I think she's talking to the folks in the chat.
Crowd? Oh,
yeah.
No. Okay. Anyway, Rico, so you're going to be showing them... Okay. All right.
Uh-oh.
Hold on 1 second. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
There you go, dude. Back at you. Sorry. I took over the controls.
It's like bumping the paper. So first, before I even animate anything, I put a ground surface, which is a grid, which makes a surface for the flour sack to move on.
Oh, it's called the BG, right?
Yeah, it could be a BG. Uh-oh, how do I do...
Do you want to fade it down?
Yeah, this is what I do.
There you go. There you go. Whatever level you want.
Yeah, right about there is good. Cool. Now I
And
need a new layer.
Then you want a new layer? Go right there.
Here?
No,
Here.
right. See, it says new right there.
Oh.
I know it should say new layer.
I can't see it.
And then you got that pop-up window and new animation layer.
Oh,
there
cool.
you go.
All right, and I can lock this down here
Yes.
by hitting lock over here, or right there?
That button.
Oh,
yeah.
okay, cool.
There you go.
Got it.
And then highlight that one. Come back up here.
Oh, you have
highlight
to actually
that.
select the
There
layer.
you go.
Gotcha. TV Paint, folks.
There you go. Let's see. Come on, Wayne. mean to like. I mean to like the video. Judy's yelling at me. I mean to like the video. Yes, I like the video. What is she talking about? Okay, let's see. Thanks for making this information available. You're very welcome, Dulv Zeng Z-E-G-N-N-G.
Sound it out, Rico. Sound it out.
Zeng. Thank you for liking it. Tifik. David. Hi, Rico brothers. Sorry I'm late.
Hey, is that my man?
That's your man? No, he's my man before he's your man.
I'm sorry.
Guys, don't forget to like. No. Yes. Like. Close Zoom. And I'm going to try. Wayne, this is not for you. Okay. All right. Okay.
All right, there's a
starting pose.
starting neutral pose of the flour sack, just kind of hanging out on the grid, of course.
And you know what, Rico? I will talk a little bit about people. A lot of people had asked us about schools, and because they're so expensive, which ones to go to. David writes, "Now, boys, don't fight." But he's being mean to me, Rico.
I've been mean
David.
to him all morning before we even went on the air.
He's being mean to me. Terrorizes me all the time. You guys, school is so expensive. What schools would I recommend? If you got the money, I'd recommend CalArts. What's the one in Canada?
Sheridan College.
Sheridan College.
That's where Dave went.
I mean, they're really expensive. I would go to, where are you going to be teaching?
Well, I'm going to start at teaching at Noman actually in a few weeks.
Oh, so, there's another great school. You could go online to different classes they offer online. And if you don't have the money, I would recommend checking out, we have covered every aspect of animation on the one-on-one animation YouTube. We've covered everything. And then on Instagram one-on-one animation, we've put up a lot of information there. That's another way you can learn. The internet is endless as far as information that you can get. There's Capilano University in Vancouver is really good. David Nethery says. I'm sure if David says so, David Nethery knows his stuff. Check that one out. Is it expensive, David? Because the problem is a lot of people, they just don't have the money to be able to afford these prices.
Well, that's what being a student is. You're not rich.
Well, but if your parents are, it makes it easier.
Good point. Good point.
And the thing is, I've heard this story about Sandro Cluzo, who I think he's from Brazil, and he really learned on his own, just off the internet. And even before that, he's been around before that, and he was just really dedicated. And that's the thing. The thing that I believe that schools offer is you got a community to work with. That's where Mike and I met, and other people I met. You got people to bounce stuff off of, because when you're a student first starting out, it's kind of overwhelming. So that's the thing that school will offer you. But I will tell you this, that you can create a community online. Let me answer some questions here. Something that might help out is, let me see, Sheridan, YouTube Alternative Art School. Yes, David Nether, but right here, one-on-one animation is a great resource. Unsolicited endorsement. Thank you, David.
How do you make a new frame? Sorry.
Oh, Go to the right, to the side. Watch. You'll see that. See the blue X?
Yeah.
Go up there. Click on it once. There you
Son of a gun. Thank you.
go. And thank you, David, for that. And David also says, somewhat expensive, but not compared to something like CalArts. Okay, so I see what he's talking about. Capilano University. Problem is, I have with those top schools that are much more famous is you're going to be in debt the rest of your life unless you have a lot of money behind you, or you inherit a lot of money or something. And that's the problem. Mike and I went to a very small school that was not very expensive. Good question. No, Judy. No, it is gone.
Long
I'm just
gone.
telling you right now. Sorry, I missed that. So we went to the small schools called Brandeis Art Institute, and in comparison to the more expensive schools, it was very cheap. And we still made careers out of it. So you can go that route. You can also just learn figure drawing from all those different sites that are out there. I'll mention them again. You can go to Aaron Blaze. He teaches not only how to draw animals, great courses he has on animation and drawing the figure and drawing animals. You can go to Proco. You can go to Steve Houston. You can go to Glenn Vilppu. You go to the teachers and check. They got free videos, and they will let you see their teaching styles. And some of them you'll connect with, other ones you won't connect with. And whoever you connect with, go with them and check it out. And so that way you're not just stuck with one perspective on the approach of drawing within itself. And drawing for 2D animation, I'm sorry, gonna say it again. You've got to draw like you breathe. You just got to. That's the way it is. You just do it to where it just becomes a habit. What's up?
I need to copy this frame and put it there. Paste it there.
Oh, now you're really getting crazy here. Let's see here. Let me.
Oh, and
Go-
also
go there.
at the beginning of this stream, Wayne was answering a question about what was our favorite studios to work at, and he mentioned Turner Animation, and one of the reasons was because he was working with Franz Fischer, who's really good. And I have a quick story about Franzi.
Here, let me move over here.
He,
Here, go back over there.
this way.
Go ahead. You can just talk. You're up there.
I just wanted to say about Franz. One time I was in the pencil test room, and I was shooting a test of Danny, and it just wasn't looking right. It was all stilted and kind of stunk. And I called Franz over. I said, "Hey, Franz, would you take a look at this and tell me what I could do to make this better?" And he looked at the whole scene and he said, "Oh, arcs. Your arcs are. You got to really focus on your arcs. I don't really see any good arc movement here." And I was like, "Arcs? Arcs? That's like for baby stuff. That's easy. That's part of the basic principles of animation." I'm like, "Really?" So I looked at it and I was like, "Oh my God, he's right. The arcs were awful. It was very stilted and it just in between from extreme to extreme with no real path of action going on with arcs." And once I went through it and redid it with the arcs, it was much, much better.
Yeah, I learned a ton from Franz.
Yeah, but he picked it out like that. He said arcs.
Yeah.
One word. I was like,
Yeah.
wow, thanks, man.
Great. All right, dude. Let's switch back.
So that's one of the good things about working at Turner was there was all these great animators. We all learned from each other. We'd watch our tests and stuff.
Yeah, and it is being within that community. Go above it.
I want to delete this and move this over here and put this blank frame here.
Wait, is this the one? Sorry, you guys. That's the one I copied, right?
Yeah, but I want to have an in between those two.
Oh, you want a blank drawing in between
In
those?
between the 2 and 3, yeah.
Okay, we'll go over there. go there. There you got a blank drawing. Just ignore that drawing.
All right, cool.
It'll just be there.
Thanks, man.
And if you want,
There we go.
you know how to put the light table if you want it.
Yeah, right here.
There you go.
Like that. Thanks. So yeah, that's one of the good things about Turner Animation was there was a lot of really good talent. I could go on and on. All the animators were great.
Jay Jackson. There was there were tons of people.
Yeah, and Mark Dindal, of course, was
And Mark
great.
Dindal was a great director to work for.
Yeah.
Really fun. You know, the thing about that project, I really felt like it really did feel like a studio. The way I sort of imagined animation from reading The Illusion of Life, the work environment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's similar to that.
Yeah. I thought everyone was a team effort. Anyway. Let's see what else we got here. Right here. Thank you very much. That's fucking expensive. Yogesh Marcel, hi. Hello. Wayne, can you check to see? Oh, that was a question. What are the animation exercises you suggest for beginners? I'm sure that Rico and I probably agree. We know it's very standard is to do the bouncing ball because the bouncing ball has every basic principle that you want in animation. The only thing I'll say that it probably doesn't have is overlap. But it has volumes, arcs, timing, stretch and squash. What are the other principles, Rico?
Well, yeah, I think you covered them all. Volumes, arcs, paths of action,
Paths of action and timing. It has all that. And something that Rico had shown me years and years ago, he made the ball into a rabbit with rabbit ears. So if you get your ball working correctly, you're going to be able to put in the overlapping action of the ears and little arms or whatever you want to do. So I think that's a great exercise to start off with. I know that's the standard, but to make it work is something different. You really got to focus to make it work. Also,
that's why it's such a great exercise because you learn so many different principles at once.
Yes.
And it's not easy.
And it's not easy. It looks easy. It's people look at it and think simple. The hard part is to make it look simple. I hope that, and plus, I tell you, afterwards, I think the flour sack right there is a good one. Mainly because you try to do some acting with the flour sack. You don't have any eyes or anything. It's all pantomime, and you just want to see if you can convey acting through a flour sack. And it has to do not only with a moving object like the bouncing ball, but now you're getting into the more sophisticated aspect of entertainment animation that deals with acting. Got to understand all these characters that we've watched over the years, they got a personality. That's what makes them work, and that is half the art of personality animation, is trying to get the acting in there. Let's see. What else do we got here? David writes again, Catstone Dance is the best. It is among a handful of films I look at and say with regret that I did not get to work on it. I wish I could have worked on it. I wish you could have been over there too, David. Also, David, Iron Giant. There's another film.
Oh, man.
Just didn't get any promotion. Again, either did Cats Don't Dance. And, Iron Giant.
That's beautiful.
Just, I mean, it's got so many fans and followers. It would have been a huge hit if what company was that?
That was Warner Brothers.
Warner Brothers?
Yeah.
If they had put money behind it. But, politics interfered, and It's over the years, it's become a classic, recognized as a classic. Let's see. How can I convert live action reference to good animation? Oh,
It's a good one.
that is a good one. I'd say you don't rotoscope. Do not rotoscope. You look for the essence of the pose of the reference, and you caricature it. I don't know. Maybe you could rotoscope it in the very beginning, but people will know. Mike and I can tell immediately if someone has rotoscoped something.
Oh,
You can
yeah.
just tell.
It's really obvious.
The idea is if you got, let me see, where am I? Okay, if you look at me and I do a head turn like that, if you rotoscope it, it's going to look very stilted and stiff. We can make it better than live action. So if you look at that and you think of this pose, my head is up like this. What I would do, I'd do a drawing of the head being exaggerated and the attitude being exaggerated. So the character is like this in live action, smiling like that. But if I was going to do my first pose of it, matters who the character is also, I'd put the head up more and maybe tilt the head out a little bit and exaggerate it. And then the arc of the head coming down and over, I would exaggerate it and flip the drawings and use those key poses as the main reference, but caricatured, so you don't have it where it just looks like live action. If you're going to rotoscope an entire film, the question is always, why didn't you just make a live action film? Honestly, I've seen films that were completely rotoscoped, and a lot of times in the very early days they would do this with the realistic characters of what was the name of the Fletcher brothers? They did Fleischers, the Superman.
Yep,
Didn't
they did a great job of that.
Yeah, but they pushed it, and then when you look at Snow White, believe it or not, they used live action reference all over it, but she was not rotoscoped. They knew how to plus it in there. So I hope that answers that question. I know that 3D animators will film themselves constantly, or their friends at the studio, and they'll just use those key poses as reference, but they push it more. They exaggerate it more. That's anything to add to that?
Yeah, it's for some reason, whenever you copy live action, literally, it doesn't translate well in animation. That's why it has to be exaggerated. I'm not exactly sure the reason why, physics-wise, it doesn't work, but all I know is it doesn't work, and that's all anybody needs to know, I guess. It's like Richard Williams, he in a documentary, he shot something on 2s with the old witch, and he normally puts stuff on 1s, and he said, I liked it better on 2s, and I can't explain why. It just looks better on 2s.
Yeah.
So it's the same kind of a phenomenon,
Well, if you watch that movie Ralph Bashki had done, what was it, the rock and roll one, American Pop?
Oh, yeah, American Pop.
American Pop, rotoscoped. And I thought it was an entertaining movie, but he rotoscoped everything, and I kind of felt like it would have been so much better if he had animated it. Could have used the reference, but everything, all these jiggling lines and everything, I think Ralph probably wanted to be a live action director at that time, but didn't have, I don't know. Here's another question. Yogesh asks, what do you think of compositing 3D background with 2D animation? Oh, I think it works great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of combinations you can get away with.
Yeah.
Cool.
I've seen some beautiful shorts, and what was that one that Disney did? Paperman, wasn't that sort of composited with 3D background?
That was, I believe, computer, but they rendered it out to look like hand drawn, I think.
well, I thought the animation, the character animation was 2D. But then I thought the background was CG.
Yes, background had to be computer. Yeah, because
and I think that's
camera
what
moves.
they mean with the background with 2D animation. Yeah, I think that's a good example of it, and I thought that worked beautifully. A lot of the combinations they do, I think, work really well. How's it going over there, Rico?
It's going all right. Just time consuming, like animation always is. It's like watching paint dry, folks. It's so dull to watch people animate, in my opinion. Just dullsville.
Do you guys enjoy watching? Let's take a little vote here. Do people like watching us as we animate? Do you get anything out of it? Do you, as far as learning? So let's see. How do you animate feeling, personality in characters without getting caught up in the mechanics? I tell you, for me, draw a lot. Again, I'm going to say draw a lot. And in the very beginning, we got a YouTube YouTube video about how to get expressions into your characters. And what I did in this video, I simplified it a lot. I just drew a round circle with a couple dots and would put in the feeling that I wanted. The eyes down. Can you do a quick demo of a happy face?
Sure.
But without the smile. Just two dots.
Without the smile.
Okay, now make him mad. Watch this, you guys. He's going to make him mad. Like that. There. You can simplify it that quickly, you guys. And there he is, mad. You can do the exact same thing and get rid of those and then make him happy. And watch. And there we got a completely different expression. Now, I know that seems really simple, but the truth is that's where you want to start, because that's where what will give you that the simple idea of what you want to do. Now, when you got your own characters or you're animating from a model sheet of a character that you are, let's say Mr. Magoo or whatever it is, use a mirror. Use a mirror, and you'll see little features that you'll put in there that will get, if they're sort of guilty looking or sheepish, to where they're kind of have a complex thought, like, use the mirror, and the mirror will help you also in that. And go ahead online and check out different methods. That I have a book. I know I have it here somewhere, and I'm going to find that book and show it to you. It shows all sorts of expressions, and it's just photographs of people. Let me see if I can find that. Hold on, what's that? Where did I put that? Well, I thought I had the book. Can't find it. I'll try to find it next week. Always thought I had it up there. Anyway, it's a book that shows just headshots of people looking straight at the camera like this, happy, angry, tilted head, all those little subtleties. Hope that helps. Thank you very much. We enjoy watching you animate. Oh, we enjoy. They enjoy
good.
it. Oh,
Good.
Thank you. Aravind Kumar, thank you very much. Animatra, yes, sure, thank you. Ilan Govan, sorry, not pronouncing last name, Mung or something. 101 Animation is my animation mentor. Draw like you breathe. That's the life motivation of artists. Yes, thank you. It is. You got to draw. Just draw. Don't, if you do, also, you guys, if you're drawing and you're having a bad day and frustrated, that's part of the territory. Understand that. It's part of the process. You're going to have good days and bad days. And you're going to have, as you do it more and more, you're going to have more and more good days. Don't let it burn you out. Don't let it discourage you. Just keep going. Just accept the fact that some days it flows out of you better than other days. And that's the process with all the arts. If you could be a dancer, you could be a guitar player, but the more you do it, the more fluid it will be. Oh, let's see. Yogesh, animation is all about feeling. If it feels good, then it's good, I think. Yes, another very good point. Animation is about feeling. So much of it is, for me, in the thumbnail stage, for me, that is where I really focus on it. But even after that, the thumbnails will give you that blueprint. We put out plenty of videos on thumbnails on YouTube One-on-One Animation. And what you do is that's your blueprint. But then when you go to animate, understand, it isn't like it's just a mechanical art form at that point. You're still feeling it out. You're trying to improve upon your thumbnails. Take it to a higher level. And the only way I know how to do that is by feeling it out. I'll do my pose test, I'll look at it. Very rarely does it work the first time. I'll be self-critical, change it. All right, I'm going to push this. This isn't working the way that I imagined it or feel it. Or I might get a little bit of a better idea within a section from the thumbnails. I'm not going to completely divert from the thumbnails because that means I'm starting a whole new scene again. That's why I want the thumbnails to be figured out. But I might add or plus something, get an idea in there, as long as it works within the allotted time that I get on the exposure sheet. Or if I'm just making up a scene, do not worry so much about the exposure sheet when you're first learning. Just animate and draw and try to get the feeling that you visualized in your head or on your thumbnails. Let's see here. Yogesh, animation's all about. Yes, I'm sorry. Dual. You're better. Can you read? I'm so bad at reading.
Let's see.
How would you pronounce? I hate mispronouncing the people's names.
Dulev Zhang?
Zhang? Okay.
Dulev Zhang, it looks like, yeah.
Okay.
Dulev Zhang, that's a hard one.
Dulev Zhang. Hope we pronounced that right. I understand better when I watch tutorials than when I read from books. It's fun to watch the experts demonstrate. Very good. That's what we're hoping for. Thank you very much. Because that is the problem with books. You don't get to see the process. And all animators have the basic process. They understand the principles, but everyone's a little bit different. So that's what we're hoping from these live streams when we do them, is that you get to watch Mike and I, and we are planning in the future to have guests come on. We just been very busy with our other jobs, but we're getting that set up. I've been saying that for a year now. So thank you for that. Thank you for letting us know that. Dazzling Action says, how do you come up with key poses? That, go ahead, dude.
Thumbnails.
There it is. There's Mike's thumbnails with the flour sack, and that's his thumbnails. So there's his key poses, and from there, he's imagining in his head, from those poses, he's going to be adding more poses within there. Those are called the breakdowns. They're just more drawings to describe how the character goes from one pose to the next pose to the next pose. And in the very beginning, a lot of beginners find it easier to animate straight ahead. And if that works for you, by all means, go ahead and do it. I've mentioned this before. You can have your key poses, those thumbnail poses, your extremes, keys, you can have those and you can use those as guides, animating straight ahead. And then after you do that, you're going to start to learn about timing. And timing is half the art form for animation, because if you look at me, I turn my head like that. 2 poses, here, there. Those are the 2 key poses. And if I put in a lot of drawings, it's going to be a slow, like, what's going on over there? Like that. Very slow. It's just like that. I can now do it within 3 drawings, like that. That means that it's a different attitude. Different timing creates a different attitude. The short one is startled. Like, here's a quick noise and looks over. This one is, So that's what I mean by timing. That's a very simple explanation of it, but that is true throughout all your timing. That's why the bouncing ball again. If you got a bouncing ball, let me see where my hand is here. I'm going to move my hand as the ball. If it's up here, come back. Up here, comes down and up, we'll say. If it goes like this, real quick, it's got more action into it. If it comes down like that and back up, it feels more like a balloon that's got a little bit of helium in it. And that makes the physicality of your characters, personality, everything that's included. Timing has a big part of that. Hope that answers it. And so the key poses, getting back to that very quickly, it's do a page of thumbnails. I had a student, and he's just exploded now with his animation because he could draw. He's a master draftsman, but he at the beginning didn't feel like doing the thumbnails. He now does thumbnails, and it has changed his animation from beginners to, he went way up there, intermediate, close to expert. It changed him. That's how important I think it is. I will tell you this. After doing it for years and years, Mike and I can jump into a scene. If we don't have much time, jump into a scene because of doing it for so many years. It's just like if you played lead guitar for so many years. Jimmy Page from Led Zeppelin can play the heck out of that guitar, and I don't think he needs much warm-up, right?
No, I don't think so.
So it's not like every scene we have to do the thumbnails, but if it's a big scene, important scene, I will always do them. What is the difference between key poses and extremes? I sometimes get confused. I know. I'll tell you what the difference is. Extremes are, if you read the Richard Williams book, extremes are a pose where the character is, come back here, is over here and ends up over here. Okay? And then Richard Williams shows the character starting here and it ends up here and then reaches down for chalk and then draws on the chalkboard. So he had, I believe, really 3 extremes. It was this one, walking in, stops, picks up the chalk and then writes on the chalkboard. You guys can see that in, as far as I'm concerned, the best book ever written on animation, Animator Survival Kit. Those are extremes right there. Keys are the drawings that will be here, and then showing each stride step, context step, of going from here to there to there for each step, stops, reaches down, and then the poses describing a little bit more of the action of the character writing on the chalkboard. They start writing here and they end up writing way over here. Breakdowns is the next set of drawings. It is to where they are the drawings that are describing how they go from the keys into the keys. I'm going to simplify this. For me, I always was basically taught keys and breakdowns. The word extreme got mixed up with keys. So for me, keys are the storytelling poses. Storytelling poses. And then the breakdowns are the drawings that describe how the character goes in and out of those storytelling poses. A great book for this is going to be Eric Goldberg's book on animation, which is what's it called?
The Animation Crash Course?
Yeah, Character Animation Crash Course. He describes it really well in that book. So you don't have to get so caught up in all that. Mike and I knew a guy who was a really good animator, and he never put charts on, didn't do anything. That is not very professional, but his animation was beautiful. I don't think he had some set system. Didn't he sort of animate straight ahead?
He just did everything straight ahead.
He did everything
no charts, no nothing.
straight ahead. And animation worked out good. You want to understand charts and all that because you're working as a professional and you want to be professional about your work. Okay, let's see. Fallen 144. Love this channel. Thank you very much. Fallen 144. Dazzling action. When did extreme poses even become a thing? I believe they came a thing when the studio pipeline came in and about, because they wanted to speed up production. And what they did, here's a good story for you. There's a great animator, one of the earliest natural greatest animators of all time. His name was Ub Iwerks. He was the guy who animated Steamboat Willie, Crazy Plane, and The Skeleton Dance. And I believe he did those 3 films all by himself, didn't he?
I'm not sure about all 3 of them, but I know he did.
I know he did Plane Crazy and Steamboat Willie by himself. I know he did those all by himself. And if he Skeleton Dance, I believe he did. What happened is to make production, because they started getting famous, Disney's started getting famous, especially after Steamboat Willie. They had started figuring out a system to where Ub Iwerks, he was the main man, and he was teaching people how to draw Mickey, how he animated. But they had wanted him to start to animate within this idea of key poses, the main poses, and then handing it off to an assistant to put in the in-betweens. Ub Iwerks did not like this. He could not feel his animation, and they had a disagreement about it. And I think he went over and started his own studio, and that's where it came about. I believe it was really to get a higher yield of production. So I believe that's where it started out. But then I also believe that as time went on, as hand-drawn animation got more sophisticated, you had people come in who just naturally had their way of doing it. You had someone like the great Freddie Moore, and he would work pose to pose, and then certain sections he'd work straight ahead on certain actions. And I think at that point it became a system of the way the individual animators worked, but they would not do all of the in-betweens. Understand that. They would not do, if it was a movement where the hand or the shape was just barely slowing in right there, it would just be a waste of time for the animator to put all those drawings in there. Even though when I worked at studios, when we worked on Cast Don't Dance, for the most part, I would see scenes completely fully animated by the animators. Do you remember that?
Oh, I love to put the in-betweens.
Yeah. You just have a sense of security that the way it's going to look. When I was over at Disney, I also, they had a crew they would call the rough in-betweeners. So you would animate your scene and then hand it off to someone who'd finish off your rough in-betweens. So there's very many different systems that people tried out and do. Different studios have different ways of doing it. So main thing again, getting back to animation, you just want to make your scene work. Understand when you see that finished animation on the screen, you do not know what that animator's process was like and what they had to go through. They could have had to have done 10 different takes on one scene, which is pretty frustrating. You never know. Who was it? We were Ruben, right?
Last time? Ruben Aquino. No, Ruben Procopio. Sorry,
Procopio. Yeah. He had to do it 7 times over, right?
7 passes. Yeah.
7 passes, and you never know. So you don't know that when you watch the film.
What gorgeous.
Yeah, there you go.
Gorgeous work.
Okay. So that's where I think it did come in there. I hope I answered that question. How's it going there, Rico?
I don't know what happened to my... Oh, there it is. I thought I'd lost the pencil for a second. It's getting there. It's getting there. I'm throwing in some breakdowns and in-betweens.
Do you want to explain anything that you've been doing?
Well, yeah. I'll talk through it real quick here. Once I get this posed down. You know how hard it is to talk when you're trying to concentrate on animating. But I'll try here. So, first I marked these poses here that I had thumbnailed out. These ones here I marked with a big star and a circle on them so you could see that those stand out as the big major poses that I thumbnailed for myself. So that, and then this, and then this. And now I'm going back in and I'm throwing in breakdowns and in-betweens to transition from each one of those. And then that'll be the final one there. So I'm kind of fleshing out this movement here, and then an anticipation, and then down into this one.
Cool. So it's coming along good.
Yeah, it's getting there.
Yeah.
A little choppy. But I don't want to take forever with this. It's just a demo, to get the point across.
It's looking good.
Thanks.
Okay, let's see. Anything. Have you guys done Fallen 144? Have you guys done background art as well as mainly character animations? Only for our own projects.
Yeah, that's not my forte.
Yeah, it's not my forte either. I did work over on another show that I really liked working on. It was called Catscratch. I didn't do backgrounds. I did storyboard revisions and had to come up with backgrounds. That's about as close professionally as I've ever done with backgrounds. Animation's hard enough.
Yeah, backgrounds is a whole nother discipline. That's a totally different deal. You got those background artists.
they're incredible. I mean, understand this also, you guys. You know, people, everybody, they do a lot of drawing. They draw landscapes or cityscapes. So they have a really good understanding of perspective and details in composition, because the thing about the background layout artists is really who puts in the initial line drawing of the backgrounds. The thing about them is they understand staging and composition really well. They know to make that background a stage for the characters.
They frame the action. Yeah.
So they get everything, all the shapes that are around the character, they make sure that it doesn't interfere with the character. There's a video we have on YouTube, one-on-one animation staging, and I explain that in there. And it's where Rascal runs in the hall and runs in the hall and right into the doorway, and then he jumps up in the air and he slides underneath the bed. And I explain the idea of the staging on it to where nothing interferes with his path of action. And that's what these top level layout artists can do. They know how to make it beautiful with the composition of it, and make it really interesting in different styles, but it never interferes with the characters. Causes choppiness in Dazzling Action is asking, what causes choppiness in animation? Is it the spacing or the posing?
I'd say choppiness. It might be exposures, 2s and 1s. It might be arcs.
Yes, I would say the spacing and arcs is really what will cause the choppiness of it. Arcs are very important. You got to follow your arcs. If you go out of arc, it will immediately become choppy. The spacing of the drawing, if you're, for the most part, you slow in, slow out, keep an even tempo, and then you slow in. That's just the real simple charts right there. As you get more advanced, you're going to have slow ins, just different charts of different elements of your characters. But just remember that. Slowing out, slowing in. If you start to slow out of a character and you're not being conscious of the spacing slowing out correctly, that will create choppiness. And what I mean by that, I'm going to move back. Here's my hand, slows out, and then let me put it more in the middle. Slows out here, speeds up, and slows in here. If you have the hand here and it starts to slow out and then suddenly it comes up here, that's fine. It pops up there. But if you have a drawing that goes from there to here, but you got it slowing out of that middle one coming in here, you're going to have immediate choppiness. It's not going to be fluid. And it's the arcs and the spacing, and you got to follow the arc. I'll show you another example with my hand. Here's my hand here. We can see that. Look at the tip of my hand. Let me try to move out of the way where we can see silhouette of the hand. Look at the tip of my fingers right there. It is following an arc, very fluid. Goes like from here and it's coming there, and if it pops down there and then pops back up in here, it's gonna jitter. It's gonna jitter, and that creates choppiness also. So you got to really focus on those arcs and the spacing of your drawings, and that will resolve any problems you have. If you see any kind of jitter or choppiness, just immediately look at your arcs and your spacing, and that's, I think, pretty much it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Thanks, Rico.
It's really this concepts are really simple, It's getting accustomed to it and how to get the effects that you want. That takes the time and the practice. That's the practice is for.
Yeah, exactly. It's in the beginning, you guys. Take your time on it. Don't be in a hurry to get it done so quickly. Do a real simple test, just a head turn, bouncing ball. You know, something simple. Don't try to make a feature film in your first attempt. A ball going across the screen doesn't even have to be a bouncing ball. It can be a bouncing ball that is just going vertically. Boink, 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 and then finally loses its energy. You can have a ball starting here, anticipate back, and then shoots off screen. Something that simple. That is where you're going to learn the principles of animation. Be it CG, be it, look, I talked about pose to pose. You know, in claymation, there's no such thing, unless some technology has come about that I don't know. Claymation is all straight ahead. So, I mean, they're incredible what they do. They get a sense of timing and weight and everything, all the principles in there. It's all done straight ahead. They don't have to worry so much about volume because the volume is there in the clay. But in the very beginning, you just want to keep things simple to learn those principles. And they say there's 12 principles.
That varies.
That does vary. Let's see here.
I've heard of 10, I've heard of 12, I've heard of 14.
Yes, it's whatever. You know what it is? After you're learning these principles, again, I'm going to use a musician as a analogy for it. After you learn these principles, you know, playing the scales or changing of the chords or playing lead, it becomes second nature to you. That's why I'm advising you to keep your character simple in the beginning. Sorry, you guys. Just keep it simple. Okay, let's see here. Juzo Hello, Ian. Sorry, terrible at pronouncing names. Hello. Wait a minute. I have a question about arcs. At what point do you define them? That's a good question.
After I get my extremes blocked in, or my key poses, then I start to draw the arcs from one to the other, and then I start to try to make the breakdown start within those confines. That's just me.
Yeah.
So that's when I start to put it in.
I think.
How about you?
I think me too. That's what I do too. I feel it out. It's sort of like this drawing that Rico's doing right now. It's like I'm thinking of the top of the sack right there, and I actually, look, you guys, I draw my arcs in there. I don't care if they show up during the pencil test, because they're only going to be there for one frame for the most part,
right?
Or two. I just draw them in there. That way I can, when I go to put in more drawings, I already know where the arc is. So if it's an arc, I would say, I keep using my hand. Let me see. Can you guys see this better? Okay, there we go. Oh, that's a good one. Rico, I came up with a good idea.
Oh, yeah? What's that?
Yellow. It shows up better up.
Oh, yeah, it stands out, pops it.
Okay, if I have an arc and the character is in silhouette, and we look at this, and it comes up and down that way, it's going to be an arc that's going to read better in silhouette like that. But what happens if it's in foreshortened and the arc as it turns like this, let's say in foreshortening, there's still an arc right there, you guys. Still an arc. And how do I find that arc? I got this drawing, and then I'll put in the breakdown of this drawing right there, and I'll flip my drawings back and forth, And that's where it will tell me where that arc is from there up to there. That will tell me. And how do I make sure that that arc is working? Very important. I keep flipping the drawings. We are dealing with the illusion of life. So that's how I stay in arc, especially digitally, the way you're able to scroll and everything. But even traditionally, you train your eye to see the fluidity of it. And that is for most actions. It isn't for all actions. We do have actions that do jitter like this. If, like, one time I remember I was animating butterflies and little butterflies. And, you know, you think of big butterflies, they're graceful and everything. Well, not the little ones. They're all over the place, and their wings will flap real quickly, and they don't really move in a real smooth arc. So it matters what the action is, but for the most part, I'd say 95% of the time, things have a nice smooth arc, especially when you look at classic animation. Hope that answers it. Any other questions, you guys? Let's see.
Or another good school I thought of is the one in Denmark called the Animation Workshop. That's a really good school. They have life drawing, sculpting, comic books, painting, you name it. They cover everything. Animation, computer animation. They start you on paper, then they go to TV Paint, then they go to computer. It's just the most well-rounded school I've ever seen as far as animation. I mean, you get everything in one package.
Is that the one you taught?
Yeah, I taught there for years on and off.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's it called again?
The Animation Workshop. It's in Viborg, I can't pronounce it. It's spelled Viborg. It's in Denmark, a little tiny town. Just gorgeous environment and everything, and really good vibe in the place. You know, everybody's really cool, and it's just a wonderful place.
Yeah, are there other schools we're forgetting about? For animation, take figure drawing, you guys.
Yeah, that's why they teach it there.
Take figure drawing.
Definitely.
You know, if you can draw the figure, you can almost draw. If you can draw the human figure, you can cheat drawing a bear or a giraffe
Or a horse.
or well,
Everything's like.
I don't know about them horses. They're very sensitive. Anyway, take a lot of figure drawing. Let's see. Moajr, Moajr. Hello, I have a question. What would be your advice on protecting your personal projects from anyone who tends to commit copyright infringements? You know, I looked into that. Supposedly, what to do is you call up the copyright office, which I've done for a few of my characters, and you just register it with them. And that way, if anyone does take your character, you already got it registered. But I also read that if you have a character and through the internet, it's been up there and you've been putting the character up there, let's say for 3 years, right? And then all of a sudden, after the 3 years, somebody starts drawing your character and using them and claiming them as their own. You have proof that it was your character because you first published it 3 years ago. And I heard that will hold up in court. I've never been in that situation, so I'm not going to say for sure that that's correct, but that's what I've read online. The real safe way of doing it is to just register it through whatever copyright, through the federal government, the copyright office. And that's the best, safest way. So I hope that answers that question. Okay, thanks for. You are welcome, Juso. Alphonse Regro, sorry, great channel. Do you think 2D animated films will ever make a comeback?
They already did.
They already are, yeah.
Klaus.
I think Klaus is one of my favorite animated films I've ever seen.
Yeah, that one's just spearheaded the way for a whole movement to come back. So
yes,
there you go.
and it is headed by a very driven human being, Sergio Pablo. So yes, my answer to that now is yes. If you asked me that 4 years ago, I would say I'm hopeful.
Well, even 4 years ago, things always move in cycles, ups and downs.
They
so I
do.
knew it would come back eventually. It's just when, that's all.
They do. Also, what is it? Klaus's, your buddy Klaus from Denmark.
Oh, yeah.
What's his films called?
The studio? Norlem.
Yeah, but the last film.
I think they worked on Wolfwalkers, maybe.
Wolfwalkers.
Yeah,
that's
another
a
good
hit.
one.
That's coming back. So that's helping it. And
Yeah,
he's
Cartoon
done,
Saloon.
What other ones have they?
Oh, they worked on Song of the Sea, and
Right.
they worked on Long Way North, and oh my God, all kinds of stuff.
And I think it's going to be coming back much faster in Europe and other countries than probably here. It'll take a while.
Yeah.
Americans are even they seem to have a hard time to catch on. They'll say the reason for success is strictly because it was CG.
Right.
I do not believe that personally. I believe that the stories were better. Pixar, I think, are very, very good. Major American company, very good at telling stories and creating personalities. That's just my view of it. How about you, Rico?
I'd say yeah, because Pixar that's their main focus is story. And that, when you break it down, any motion picture, the whole purpose of making it is to tell a story.
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter what kind of style it is or what kind of medium you're using, whether it's CG or stop motion or cutouts or sand or paper, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I mean, just as long as it's a good film, you can use any one of those techniques are valid.
Absolutely. I mean, it's, you guys, you look at, as far as I'm concerned, I've seen animation that I'm really into. Both of us are very into animation. I was just trying to understand how to do full classic animation was what I was just always intrigued by. How do they do that? And so I'm not really a story person, but then I started, as years went on, I started realizing, watching The Simpsons, I wasn't a fan of their designs or anything, but I did find myself laughing a lot, and they were able to create these personalities with those characters that I just wasn't, I was totally Disney, Warner Brothers, back in my day, the stuff that I was raised on. And what I'd come to realize, it really is more the story and the personalities of it. Even in, like Tex Avery did the film, what was that film about being a woman? Remember? And the husband comes home belly aching about it. He had a real hard day, and the wife goes into this whole speech about, oh no, I didn't do anything. And she was talking about, I did the groceries back in the house and everything.
Sarcasm, yeah.
Yeah, it was sarcasm. But it was a really well thought out idea. And it was the poor husband acting like he's the only one working so hard. And they made a point of it, and this is back in that was the 50s.
It's gotta be the 50s.
Yeah. And the concept, you think about it, very simple concept, but made it a really entertaining story. Now it's back when misogyny was at its peak. Let's see here. Great channel. You're welcome, Mojar, Moajr. Thank you. Well, her. Oh, they're talking to each other. Thanks for the suggestion. Check out Klaus. Oh yes, please check out Klaus.
Oh, it's great.
It's really something.
You'll love it.
And
A lot of good stuff in there.
and they got more coming out of.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Is it called SP Studios?
SPA for Sergio Pablos Animation.
Oh, Sergio Pablo.
Yeah, Spa
Animation.
Studios.
And you're gonna see more and more. It's check out. Go on YouTube. I recommend it, and check out. SPA has a bunch of short little vignettes of how they approached different aspects on the film.
Oh, yeah.
And it's, again, a wealth of information. Check that out. Leon Zunabed? Beld? Hello, first time here. Hope to apply to animation workshop someday, but I still have a lot to learn. If there are we don't offer animation workshops here, but there are places. Just do a little research out there, and you'll find workshops out there.
Is he talking about the animation workshop in Denmark, or like he wants to apply there? Is that what he's saying?
It's not in caps.
Oh.
Oh, maybe. Oh, all right. Maybe that is. If you mean the animation workshop in Denmark, that'd be great. A lot of people say, but still have a lot to learn.
That never ends, my friend.
That
Never.
really doesn't ever end. You never feel. Thank God.
Yeah.
We never feel like we learned it all. If that was the case, it'd be really boring. There'd be no point to it. So, they say you got a lot to learn and be enthusiastic about it, but always look forward to learning more. That's my best advice. Because I used to always I just want to get to this level, I don't think there's ever a level. I mean, I would look at people's animation and think, I remember when I was a kid, I saw Snow White. Well, animation doesn't get any better than that. And then you saw how they had progressed, and they did get more sophisticated and better. Not saying the films were better, but as far as the animation itself. Okay. Dazzling action. What's your guys' take on rampant politics in film and animation? Not to make the stream go sour, just wondering. I told Judy that I would not talk about politics.
Yeah, I don't talk politics or religion on.
I can't stand Trump.
When I'm talking about art, I'm not going to talk about that other stuff. Sorry.
But that's just my opinion. So there's my political view. I shouldn't have done that, should I?
You freak.
No, I mean, Judy's going to be all pissed off.
She'll be mad now.
Yeah. All right, Judy, I'll wait for the scolding later. And don't get mad at me because I said that. It's just an opinion. I could be wrong.
Okay, so here's one thing I wanted to point out about this. I've got an extreme here. Oops. I've got an extreme right here where the flour sack is sad and dejected. And then in the very last extreme, boom, he's like kind of rolled back, even more dejected. But instead of going from this just straight down into that, I went up and then down into, and then even did a little squash and then settled into it. So it's adding a little more dynamics to the movement there. Just saying.
Okay.
Because 38 years ago, I just would have animated straight from that into this, and I just would have had it collapse. And
Here, talk to the camera.
oh, sorry, I just would have had it collapse and slow in and like just settle into this.
So explain that again one more time.
So from this extreme here, where it's dejected and sad, this little flour sack goes into this pose here, which is the final one, where he's really collapsed in on himself. 38 years ago, I would have just straight in between from here to here. So it just would have kind of slowed into that and morphed into it. But to add a little more dynamics to the movement, instead of just having a deflation happen, because I just want to add a little more flair to it, I had it anticipate up and then slow down and then even squash and then settle after that. So I'm adding a couple of extra little things in there instead of just going straight from there to there, which is kind of dull.
Which is, that is what I mean when I talk about breakdowns. He put in those extra drawings in there to describe how he went from those two poses, from that one pose into the other pose. And you can call it a breakdown, you can call it, this is what I had in mind, you can call it whatever you want, but it makes it more interesting. So that's a great example of describing the action in a different way. And not to say that the one way wouldn't work. You might have a director that tells you, no, I don't want that in there, and you just have to do it that way. But that is the idea of where you can plus scenes, or if you think it went too far, or take stuff out. Let's see. After my stupid remark, I should have said that. Dazzling action fair. Maybe that's better not to go there. YouTube is full of that already. True. Which animation software is good and cheap?
Rough Animator.
That's what I use. Mike and we use Rough Animator. There's also what are the ones that are free?
There's one called Monkey Jam, I think. But if there's problems, there's no tech support on that one, so you kind of have to fly solo with it.
There's Monkey Jam and
isn't there one called Flipbook or something like that?
There's Flipbook isn't too expensive. Rough Animator's only $5. You can use it on a Cintiq, or you can use it on your iPad. It's the one that, for me, it was just really pretty intuitive, and it's really, you can do a lot with it. To me, it's a really good deal. There's also something Tunes.
Oh, I don't know.
Tunes, let's see. Oh, there it is. Thank you, Leon. Open Tunes. I use Open Tunes for animation. It is free and open source. Yes, that is one I've heard a lot about. So check that one out. That's supposed to be good. Let's see. Are you guys using a Wacom? Yes, we got a Wacom Cintiq right here.
Yes, this is a nice big. What is the inch? What is this?
24.
24-inch Cintiq. It's beautiful.
24, and I've had this for, I think, 8 years now. So it lasts a long. I can't shut it off anymore because sometimes it won't come back on.
How long have you had it?
I think 8 years.
Wow, that's a good long run.
Yeah.
It's a really nice, got a nice feel to it. Good response.
So I tried using an X sheet on paper, then later decided to change the timing. I had to rewrite the entire X sheet and change frame numbers. Is this just normal, or am I doing something wrong? That is just normal. Yes, I know, that gets frustrating. After you get used to the X sheet more, you can, and timing, after you get used to that more, you'll be able to sort of imply where your keys are going to go. A lot of people will first write down the numbers in a wax pencil that is blue, a light blue or red, and that way when you go back to erase it, you haven't put it in graphite. So I recommend you first, if it's easier for you, just put it in light blue or red, and then if you got to make changes, you'll have to write it down and make the changes. And when you finalize it, just put it in graphite and clear for everyone down the pipeline at the studio. But I know that can be very time consuming. Again, why I will say that working digitally is so much faster is because you can get everything figured out onto your timeline on your software working digitally, and if you get all that, all the numbers and everything are there, and then you just, when I do freelance work, it's all done on the timeline. I just copy what I see up on there onto the X sheet, and it's already done. Let me see. David Nethery. Rough Animator is good. On iPads, there's a good one called Calipeg, which is good and cheap. Okay, so there's another one, and David Nethery knows what he's talking about. I would look up Calipeg, Callipeg. I think I'll check that one out.
Yeah, I remember
David
he mentioned that
it.
recently to me. I'm going to check that out too. That sounds really good.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Rico, how do I hold this first frame? What do I drag to hold it for like 10 frames?
Right there.
Bottom right?
See that bottom right?
Okay. So
And then see the number up there in the top right corner?
Yeah.
It says 10?
Got it.
There you go.
Thanks, man.
Okay. Listen to David. David knows his stuff. Okay. You're welcome. Oh, I see. Oh, that's probably David. But thank you, David. Oh, I see. Thank you so much. Very welcome. Very welcome. I hope it helps.
What am I doing here? Hold on.
Hold on, you guys. I got to...
Okay, there we go. I got it now. Okay, that holds for that.
If you need help, just ask me.
Okay.
Yogesh, Masal, Alan Becker has the best tutorials on 12 principles of animation if you don't know. Oh, come on, dude. We do. One-on-one animation test.
What are you doing to me? Hey!
Check out everybody, you guys. Check
Yeah.
out everybody.
Yeah, don't just check out one thing. Check out as much as you
Check
can.
out because you don't know. We
the
might
best.
not explain it as good.
You never know. Actually, it's good to get all different kinds.
It is. It's just like what I was talking about instructors. You got to see, who you connect with.
Okay, I'm almost there. I'm timing it out right now.
Oh, okay. So Rico's timing out his scene right now, and this is a good subject to talk about, you guys. Timing out your scene. Do try to get in the habits when you put down your keys and breakdowns. You need to do it with your first set of keys. It's complicated in the beginning, but push yourself, especially because you got the digital software, so it's easy. Try to get a feel with your key poses and some breakdowns of what your scene is going to be timed out as. Now look, your scene is going to look choppy when you do this. Expect that. That's just... You're not looking for fluid animation. You're looking strictly to get a feeling for the timing of it. And in the beginning, it can be a little bit confusing because you're looking at it and thinking, the animation is so stiff and all that. It's supposed to be at that time. You don't go in there thinking about animation per se. You're thinking about timing. And just push yourselves to try to get a feel for that. And you can also do that with the bouncing ball, or the flour sack like Rico's doing. Okay, let me see.
I'm going to hit play on this puppy.
Oh, Rico's big moments here.
Here we go now. We're going to start on frame 1. Hit play. See what happens. What? That's way too fast.
But there he goes. But he's
way too fast. I'm going to slow that way down.
Oh, but there he did. Very important right there. That demonstration, you guys. Really important. He checked it out. He did a timing test. And he figured, it didn't come out the way he was envisioning it.
I lost frames.
So You lost drawings?
I
you
lost a
mean?
whole bunch of drawings from here to here.
Oh, you're kidding. Go
Yeah.
back. Go back up here.
They're all gone here.
How far should I go back?
Keep going until these appear.
Hold on, you guys.
There they are. Okay.
There they-
Thanks.
Okay, if you now look, what you can't.
That's what I got.
Okay. If you got any questions, let me know. Don't
All right.
lose any drawings.
Okay.
Where was I at?
You said this is really important about the timing.
Oh, so that here he is. He's playing around with the timing. Didn't come out exactly like he had planned, and so he's going to play with the timing as far as holding frames for 24 or maybe just 8 frames, anywhere, whatever is working for it. Now this is, again, look, he just did these quick thumbnails right now, so he wasn't sure exactly what he's going. I thought it was working when I looked at it. So do that. Push yourselves to. That's how you're going to learn timing. As far as I know, back in the very beginning, the way I learned it was with a stopwatch, and then my teacher had said, whatever you time out in the stopwatch, cut it in half for animation, and that will usually work. It wasn't always true, but it was a good place to start. Those days are gone. You can learn it quicker and easier now, working with the software like Rico's got there. But do take note of it. Do be aware of it. Another clue I'll give you, another thing that I use, principle, it's kind of works for me. I think 4 to 6 frames is a glimpse. 4 is a quick glimpse, 6 is a longer glimpse, and then 16 frames is a pause. So if you think about that with those amount of frames, let's say 6 frames to 16 frames, 6 being a glimpse, 16 being a pause. If you think about that as you're doing your pose test, you'll see a pose and you'll say, oh, I want this to be a pause, but even longer than a pause. Well, I'm going to hold it for 24 frames then. And I'll check it out. And if I got to cheat 2 or 4 frames here and there, that's fine. There's always a way to play around with it and make it all work. Always a way. How's it looking, Rico?
Not too good.
Not too good? Why?
Well, I see a lot of things wrong with it, but yay, it's just a quick demo, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see. So, yeah, there's a few
Well,
little
explain
things.
what's going on.
Well,
Hold on. Let's do one thing first.
okay.
Can I do one thing?
Yeah, sure.
I want to put in. Is that your last frame right here?
Way down. You got to scroll this bar way over to get to the end frame.
Yeah. I don't know why it's.
Way over.
Okay.
That's the last frame right
Okay.
there.
Go right there. Up here. Hold on one sec, you guys. I want to put one in between, a blank.
Oh, okay.
That
Gotcha.
way we can see. Come on, baby.
I tried that, but it wouldn't work.
Here, let me see something. Why is it not dragging?
Oh, there it goes. You just have to keep going.
No,
No.
it's just not working correctly.
Huh.
Hold on one sec, you guys. I don't know why it's.
I could do that while you're talking.
Maybe this?
Because that's what I did for this one.
No, that's right. So there he did his pose test. He's thinking, and then it reads to me.
Yeah, it's just the timing is
Okay.
needs a little more work here.
So he would play around with the timing more to get it the way.
the way I'm
he wanted.
envisioning it, yeah.
But that is basically, that's the start of a pose test right there. That is what the start of a pose test is. Okay, let me keep reading. Are you guys using Wacom? Okay, thanks. Oh, I see it. Thank you so much. You're very welcome. Alan Becker is a tutorial time animation.
better.
With, I don't quite get, Dazzling Action says, time for animation beef with Alan Becker. Hee hee. No, I got no, if you're saying I got a beef, no, I got no beef with anybody. Nobody. Look, we want you guys to learn. That's why we're doing this. We want you to learn. Yogi says, I mean people in the chat. Laugh out loud. Okay. All right. All right.
All right, I can see already. I gotta adjust some timing here.
So Rico's going a little OCD here, which is cool. You need a little bit of that to be an animator. A good one. And that's it. We've been on for an hour and a half, I think.
Alrighty. Let's see. That's got a whole
Go ahead,
longer.
take your time. Dude.
I knew I should have held this longer. There we go. That's better.
Now look, also what happens is, for the most part, when you're working in the studio system, you get an exposure sheet. The exposure sheet is the allotted amount of time for you to do your scene in, because the director had decided this beforehand. So when you get that, you don't have the free reign like Mike does here, to do. If you're making your own film outside of dance beat or dialogue, you can make your scene whatever you want. Main thing is to learn animation in the very beginning. So I hope that makes sense. Don't want you to get all tied up with the technical aspects of it. There's also another channel. What is his name? AB. If anyone out there can help me, I think it's ABC. No, or AB something. He's an animator out of England. I think he works out of London. He has a lot of really good tips, and he's a professional animator. Sorry, I can't remember his name. I just found him I think it was about a month and a half ago. And I've become friends with him on Instagram. But he has a lot of points that I don't think of, and he'll bring up, and they're very valid points. Let's see here. What is the weekly monthly quota for 2D animation?
40 feet a
for
week.
Films. Rico's being sarcastic. There it is. AMB. Thank you, David.
I knew he'd know it. I knew. That's why he's the man.
David, you know everything.
He knows
dude.
everything.
You are. You're like the god on top of the mountain hill. You go to David for all the answers. That's it. AMB. Very good stuff on that channel. What is the weekly, monthly quote for 2D film animation?
It varies.
It varies. It matters where you're working. It matters if you're just starting out.
Yep.
It matters if you get a scene that has 20 characters in it. They don't expect you to get it done in, a week. I had one scene that it was a very short scene, and it took me a month and a half. I was just starting out. It was of a horse, and Rico was there. I almost had a nervous breakdown trying to draw this horse. And
it's a tough assignment.
It's, so it varies, and it gets easier and easier as time goes on. That's why the message again, draw like you breathe. It makes life a lot easier for traditional animation.
Now I wanted to explain what the timing is now and how it communicates what I was trying to do. So I got it timed out pretty well here. So we're going to check it out. It starts out neutral. The flower sac turns to the right, all excited, so it's a fast timing, then comes back a little slower. anticipates and goes sad and then plops down again. So
Oh,
there's
very good.
a nice, better variation in the timing here to give more of the emotion of what's going on.
And there you got the acting, you guys.
Yep.
No facial features.
Simple.
Total pantomime.
Excited. Tears around. Oh, man. Gets dejected and then plops down. Even more dejected.
Beautiful, dude.
That's
and
it.
there he did it. After, so how many times pose tests did you go over it? Like 3?
Yeah, I retimed it about 3 or 4 times.
3 or 4 times. See, we did the exact same thing back when it was on film than video, except it took a lot longer because you had to reshoot.
Right.
So
yeah, this one pretty quick.
And that is why I still recommend working digitally. Okay. Let's see.
You know, I have to interject on that. I totally agree with you. Working digitally can be faster, but when you're learning, I would learn on paper. That's just me. Because you learn it more thoroughly because you have to use your fingers to get in there and do every little nuance. You know what I mean? You have more control over what you're doing.
I totally disagree.
Intimately. There you go. That's why. That's why we get along so famously.
Do you really?
No, I really believe that if you when you're first learning, I think it's optimal to do it on paper because it forces you to create every little. I don't know how to explain it. It's like. It forces you to slow down and really get more intimate into the drawings, you know, as far as how they relate to each other. And the sensitivity of you using your fingers to roll the drawings back and forth allows you a more in deeper involvement with trying to get the relationships of those drawings rather than digital instead of just scrubbing back and forth. Now, once you learn it, then to go faster, it's a lot faster to just scrub through, so I recommend digital.
But look, you guys, this is what we do all the time. We have debates. That's why we've been friends for so long.
Philosophical debate.
But what is it that you think it's more meditative? Like if you're flipping the physical paper and
no, it's more of an intimacy.
More ingrained?
It's more of an intimacy. You get deeper involved in how those drawings relate to each other by using your fingers to check out the relationship of each drawing to the other. You know, when you roll it like this, it doesn't.
That makes sense. It does make sense.
I mean, for learning, that's all.
It is more intimate. I will say that. Yeah, he might be right. I hate to say it, but he might be right. I guess the point of it is to try both.
I'll let this
First, what you got to do is you got to learn how to roll the drawings.
True.
If you do decide to go to paper, and if they come off the pegs, put a rubber band at the around the pegs. Look, that's how he's got a point. I got to give it to him because I'm thinking about it. That's how we learned.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad I learned on paper rather than learning digital because it did force me to. It's almost like digital is too easy or too slick. I don't know how to explain it, but when you are forced to use paper, there's an intimacy in the relationship of those drawings. I don't know how else to say it. I mean, you can sit there and look at part of the drawing. That's the thing is this is all exposed one drawing to the next, and it's nice and clear. It's great for going fast when you already know how to animate.
Right.
This makes the process much faster in a way, I think. But when you're learning, it's nice to have that ability to look at part of the drawing when you peel the paper back, and just focus on a certain part of the drawing without seeing the rest of the other part of the drawing.
So you're flipping like the corner edge or
something?
Right,
exactly. So you can focus on like the way that you curl the paper. You can look at the right side of the character or the left side of the top, or you can pull it all the way down to the bottom, and you can focus on your attention gets focused on just one area rather than being exposed to the whole thing. I don't know. It's hard to describe.
Okay.
That's just the way I feel about it. It's a personal thing.
It's you know what? My advice is try both. Except you got to get the setup.
I totally agree. Try both.
Try both.
And that goes with anything. Try all different methods, techniques, approaches, everything.
Yeah. And you guys, you don't need, if you look behind my head right back there, I got my animation desk back there. Oh, Rico's got one too.
Disc right
Looks
there.
just like mine.
It does.
It's amazing.
Mine's lighter than yours. Yours is darker.
It is. But look, they even got the same stuff on the down.
Yeah. Is this the X sheet
That's
over
the
here?
Same books too.
Really?
It's incredible.
Oh no, that's not an X sheet. That's the edge of the desk. Sorry.
Anyway, you do not need that setup right there. All you need is you get a drafting table or buy anything, cut a hole in it, and you will need to buy a disc and paper.
Yep.
That's really all you need. You don't even need the light table if you don't want.
Yeah.
You can put a flashlight under there or something.
I prefer working with no light, so that's just
Yeah.
me. I'm a freak that way.
Okay, let's read. Okay, we're gonna start to sign off here. Dazzling action. David knows all. David does know all. Oh, without David, I would have never figured out TV Paint.
Yeah,
Trust me.
he's an expert.
I would have still been trying to figure out how to register the thing. Okay, Richard Hop agreed. Start your animation study. Okay, so Richard Hop also says start animating on paper. I've been outvoted. Let's see. Huzo says, I feel exactly the same point about paper and digital. They have different strengths. Okay.
Yes, they do. Absolutely.
And Leon, I recently made my own animation light box to practice animation traditionally. Very good. There you go. By the way, you guys, I have I have a blueprint on Instagram, one-on-one animation of all the measurements and everything of how to make your own animation table. That's pretty cheap, and it's also portable if you want. So you can check that out. Maybe I'll repost it back on Instagram. Go to I will repost it. Go to Instagram, one-on-one animation, and I'll repost it, and you can see it, and it shows all the measurements. And if you're handy with your hands, or you know someone who's handy with wood and stuff, it's pretty simple to make. Okay. Let's see. Where is it? David Nethery. Yes, agree. Richard Hop. Hi, Rick. Dazzling action. Intense intention. Richard Hop. Hey, at David Nethery. Talking to each other. Yogesh. I totally disagree because you learn on paper and then you switch to digital. Then it will cost extra time to get comfortable with digital animation. Why not? And why learn on paper if the goal is digital? All right, see, Yogesh is with me.
Everybody's got their own personal opinion on it. It's totally cool.
Yogesh, don't tell him, but we're right.
It's all valid. It's all valid.
It is all valid.
It's just personal opinion.
It is all valid. And plus, the other thing is you get to hit a button, you see your animation immediately.
Good point.
I find using no lights when animating traditionally very fun to do.
Yeah.
I wish I was one of those people.
Who said that?
Leon.
Yeah.
Zenfeld. I have found where I do it, and I don't even know I'm doing it, but then I always seem to go out of arc or something. I just was raised on the light table. But
That's a good point you mentioned that. Because when I have the bottom light on, I use that to check my arcs, but I turn it off for volume so I can keep track of the volumes easier.
Oh, yeah. That's
what I do.
That's really the main reason I use it.
Yeah.
Is to keep my arcs. I find...
Yeah. I try to concentrate on the volumes with the light top light on only, and then when I'm looking at the arcs, I have to put the bottom light on to double check it.
I think it's, you know what? I think the brain just gets used to, because I'm not even aware when I got the bottom light on.
Yeah?
Like, I will put on paper, if I'm doing it on the disc, I will put paper underneath what I'm animating, because it's too see-through.
Yeah, it gets too too confusing. So that.
But I'm not
cuts
even
down.
aware. I'm really not even aware of like doing digitally. I'm not aware of the orange and green drawing. Really.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
I think it's because my brain it gets used to it, and I'm just seeing the drawing that I'm drawing.
Huh.
Okay. Dude, that looks great.
Thanks. It's a fun little test.
I think that's it.
So yeah, it just shows that you can get volumes in a simple form like this, in volumetric drawing and animating, and also you can get attitudes with the most simplest of
Which is really important, you
shapes.
guys, is getting that acting. That's what character animation is truly all about. All those other principles are extremely important also, but if you can't get the personality into it, it's kind of, I don't really see a point to it. For character animation, there's different types of animation.
And by the way, there's some parts in here that are a little choppy, and if they're choppy, all you have to do is throw some in-betweens in and it'll smooth it out. You just keep the same timing. Like if it's on 2s and you want it to be more smooth, you just add in-betweens on those 2s so they're on 1s.
There you go.
Smooth it right out.
Exactly.
And if it's on 4s, you add it onto 2s. You do this and so on and so on.
We totally disagree. I mean, agree. I'm sorry. I find myself disagreeing with him so much, it just came out of me. Just kidding. We were best friends.
Any other cool questions? There's a lot of good
Yeah,
questions these
there
guys are
sure
coming up
was.
with.
It was a good day for questions. I can't find any. Except
Well, we covered the schools.
I think the most important one is that Dazzling Action said, David knows all.
He does. I totally agree. That's what.
Yes.
I mean, he's proved it over and over and over. So he's the man. He knows everything. You have anything to say about that, Dave?
Anything to say about that, David? He might have signed off. Let's see. What's
He's
David's
probably like,
last
you guys
one?
are sick. I'm gone. I'm out of here.
David, last thing David wrote was AM beige. I think that's
Who's answering your...
the channel. Right. A and B is this animator's channel, and his last name is BAIG. Baj? Is that correct?
Beige?
Beige.
I don't know how to pronounce that.
Uh,
Us Americans were...
Oh, David, he did have one last comment.
Oh.
Oh, man. All right. That's a good time for us to sign off.
That's the final word.
Wait, I'll ask this if you have time. It is generally better to rough out all of the in-betweens before any tie-downs or cleanup, or leave in-betweening after the extremes and breakdowns are tied down, cleanup. I think that's that's an individual thing.
Oh, you mean either or?
Yeah.
Who's asking that?
That is Husso. I can't pronounce the last name. Cali. Look at it.
Let's see.
Right there.
Kalioinen?
Yeah. Anyway,
That's a good question.
it is a good question. I think it's really sometimes I will rough out all the in-betweens. Other times, I don't. I got enough breakdowns in there to where I know it's gonna work, and then I'll tie those down first. Also matters how much time I have on the scene.
Yeah.
We're getting a lot of questions
It's
here.
definitely personal preference, and I always prefer to put the in-betweens in, even if they're loose and rough, and even if they're partial, just because I want to see the final timing of it. I really, really want to see that myself. Whenever I had, like you said, if you have the time.
If you have the time, yeah.
That's a good point.
Then someone said, actually, David is an old animator from Disney. Was David from Disney before I met him at Bear?
Oh, yeah, he worked on Roger Rabbit.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
David.
he's the man. I'm telling you, he's the man.
I didn't know. You got to work on Roger Rabbit?
Yeah, never mind working on Catstone Dance. I wanted to work on Roger Rabbit.
Oh,
He got to
man.
work on that one.
Always wished I'd worked on Roger Rabbit.
Talk about a classic. Oh.
That's the film that got me back. Remember, I kind of got out of animation for a couple of years there.
Oh, yeah?
I saw Roger. Yeah. I thought it was going to be an Altis. And that was I saw that film. It was like, oh man, I got to get back into it.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then David writes back, you guys should tell the people where to get an animation disc.
Oh, where to
I
get
think
a disc.
Lightfoot is the last place.
Lightfoot's in London, right?
Yes.
Or-
That's where I would say to get it.
Yeah.
Or you can make your own.
True.
I also think I have taken plexiglass, and when Rico and I had this other school, and I made like 10 of them, 12 of them on my own. It's a little bit more of a process when you make the hole for the disc, because you got to put a bevel in the rim of it so the glass or the plastic glass lays flat into where the bevel is. So it's a little bit different. But you can do that too. You buy the pegs and you tape them or glue them onto the plexiglass.
Or the opposite, you could actually put a bevel in the desk and then the disc just sits in it and spins around on that little lip, right? If you have like a router, you could do that, right? In the actual desk itself.
That's what I meant.
Oh, I thought you meant you cut the ridge into the plexiglass.
No.
Oh.
I mean into the wood.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay.
into
that
the
makes more
wood.
sense.
Or you could do it the opposite way. I think the wood's easier.
The wood is easier because then you can use soap and put soap on there and it makes it glide easier.
Yeah.
It lubricates it. So
Yeah.
it turns easier.
We got a whole bunch of... Let's
Good.
keep
We've
going
got
here.
lots of answers.
Ask if you have time. You guys should tell the people where to... Oh, that's David.
There's another place to
Bye.
get discs. Where is it? I'm trying to think.
That's all right, David. I understood it. David,
What is that place? Gordon Allen Enterprises? I don't know if they're still around.
And we're not old. We're mature. That's right, David. Who said we're old?
I didn't say we're old.
I know. So I think someone got on there, Rick. I say we're
I
old.
don't think I said we're old.
Nah.
All those gray hairs.
Oh, man. That's why my back is killing me right now. Like fine wine. Richard Hop, like fine wine. That's right. I feel like a Burgundy.
There you go.
Yeah. Maybe I feel a little bit more like a Cabernet.
Oh,
How about you, Rika?
I'm a white wine.
You're a white wine? Oh, okay.
Sweetened.
bro.
Sweetened.
Okay.
Whatever.
Thank you for all the answers. You're very welcome, Huso. Always amazing to catch your streams. Thank you very much. And then Leon, thank you very much. And we are going to sign off now.
All right.
All right. Say goodbye, Rico.
Goodbye. See you next time.
You're supposed to say goodbye, Rico.
Goodbye, Rico. Animate.